قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. This is our 27th class on al-usul al-thalatha, and alhamdulillah that I got this far. And we're still on the third chapter, the core chapter, we said, the main part of the book. And the sentence we left off at, وَأَعْظَمُ مَا أَمَرَ اللَّهُ بِهِ التوحيد وهو إفراد الله بالعبادة. And the greatest of all that Allah commanded is Tawheed. Tawheed, to single Allah out with worship. To believe in His unity, which entails offering all worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and only to Allah. The proof is that this is the greatest matter is all throughout the Quran. However, the verse the author used and chose is a very wise choice. And we will see why and how. The verse that he chose for proof is وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Worship Allah and join none with His worship. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. So the first matter Allah orders is Tawheed and to stay away from Shirk. Second, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى, and to do good to the parents and kinsfolk. وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. The orphans and the masakin are what's considered poor. وَالْجَارِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى, the neighbor that's near of kin. Then after that, وَالْجَارِ الْجُنُبِ, the neighbor who's a stranger. وَالصَّاحِبِ بِالْجَنْبِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ, and the companion by your side and the wayfarer that you meet. وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ مَنْ كَانَ مُخْتَالًا فَخُورًا. And those slaves whom your right hand possesses, Allah does not like those who are proud and boastful. This is a very important verse. The verse mentions many rights, 10 of them actually to be precise. 10 essential rights and duties that you're ordered to do. The first one of the 10 important rights or duties is ibadah to Allah and deterrence from its opposite, which is shirk. So the author is trying to tell us the most important matter Allah ordered and commanded is this Tawheed. The Tawheed that we've been studying about, the Tawheed of Millat Ibrahim Hanifa, to worship Allah and to worship Him a pure worship. The creation were created to worship in Tawheed. أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. You think that we created you in play, and you have no purpose in this life, and that you're not going to be brought back to be questioned? أَيَحْسَبُ الْإِنسَانُ أَنْ يُتْرَكَ سُدًى. Does man think that he will be left unaccounted for and neglected? We weren't created in vain. We were created to worship, to follow the ordains and to refrain from the forbiddens. The most important of all that is Tawheed. The most important order is Tawheed. The most important matter to refrain from is Shirk. Rest assured, all of Allah's commands are important. Every single one of them. All of them. All that which Allah told us to do, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered us. When it comes to legislation, it's as if it's all from Allah. And we talked about that earlier. However, not all of Allah's commands are at the same level. They're all important. They're all essential. We can't diminish their importance. But some are more important than others. Some haram or prohibitions are worse than others. Some ordains are more important than others. The most important of all is your Tawheed. And I'm sure everyone got that by now. We stress that a lot. Tawheed is important. Why? Why is Tawheed important? Because you didn't enter Islam except with Tawheed. And the opposite of that is what exits you out of Islam. Wal-'iyadhu billah. Your ultimate success and failure relies on it. The messengers never called for anything before it, nor did they deter from anything before deterring from the opposite of Tawheed. When the Prophet ﷺ used to send his Sahaba, فَلْيَكُنْ أَوَّلَ مَا تَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَيْهِ شَهَادَةُ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. It was Tawheed that he ordered them to teach. Now let's take the definition of Tawheed. لغة, linguistically. It's a verbal noun from the verb وَحَّدَ يُوَحِّدُ. وَحَّدَ is something unified, something that's made into one. That's the linguistic meaning. Shar'an, the meaning for us, the Shar'i meaning, is to believe Allah is one with no associates, no partners. Singling out Allah Jalla Jalaluh with all that's particular to Him. You do not worship any prophet, nor any angel, nor any creation. You single Allah out alone in your worship, in your veneration, your longing, your love, your awe. And that's the pure Tawheed to Allah. Now, another related term commonly used in this area is Aqidah. Tawheed and Aqidah. We now got Tawheed. What's Aqidah? That comes from the word linguistically, لغة عقد الجمل. Tying something. When they used to tie the camel, you say عقد الجمل. When you affirm something, when you tie it, when you tie the knot. You know how you tie a knot very tight? That's how Aqidah has to be in your heart, which is Tawheed. That's why some refer to Tawheed as Aqidah, because you gotta tie it good in your heart. It's gotta be firm. Linguistically, the word was used in the Quran. لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم ولكن يؤاخذكم بما عقدتم الأيمان. The word عقدتم is used in its literal form in this verse. Allah does not hold you accountable for unintentional oath. But He holds you accountable for your firm oath. بما عقدتم الأيمان. عقدتم الأيمان. So you have firm oath, which is عقدتم الأيمان, or عقد اليمين. The firm oath is عقد اليمين. And then that's where Aqidah comes from. So the verse is trying to tell us that there's عقد اليمين, which is the firm yameen, and there's لهو اليمين, which is the unintended. You're held accountable for عقد اليمين, which is the affirmed yameen, the firm yameen that you give. That's the linguistic. So it's like tying a knot, affirming something. That is what Aqidah is linguistically. And that's where it comes from. You have to affirm your Tawheed. It has to be firm in your heart. And that's why Tawheed was called Aqidah. Now the Shar'i meaning, Shar'i meaning of Aqidah and Tawheed, they can be used interchangeably with each other. Aqidah is Tawheed, and Tawheed is Aqidah. That's really the bottom line of it. Aqidah in Tawheed means to have firm heart intent, a firm determination in the heart. You can't have but absolute firm belief. It has to be firm without no doubt. Raib, any type of it, any level of it, which is doubt, is not allowed. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا. The believers are those who believe in Allah and His Messenger, then have ثم لم يرتابوا means have no doubt. They have no doubt. You can't have no percentage of doubt in your Tawheed. Some define the Aqidah as slightly broader than Tawheed. Tawheed would be knowing your basics of your faith, what you really have to know. But then Aqidah, they defined it as broader in that you know the doubts, the disputes, the proofs, and how to respond to them. Meaning, Tawheed is knowing the bare minimum that you need to know with its proof. The Aqidah is a little bit, a step higher over that, which is knowing what other sects say and how to respond to it, or other details that are secondary in this area. But in reality, they're both one. And the terms can be used interchangeably. Because why I say that? Because some of the Salaf named their Tawheed books Aqidah. Abu Uthman al-Sabuni rahimahullah, in his book Aqidat al-Salaf, Ashab al-Hadith, he named his book on Tawheed Aqidah. He considered it Aqidah. In the great Imam al-Lalaka'i rahimahullah, شرح أصول اعتقاد أهل السنة والجماعة. شرح أصول اعتقاد أهل السنة والجماعة. He had a book on Tawheed. He called it اعتقاد, عقيدة. So they can basically be used interchangeably. The next point, we already went over the three types of Tawheed, so there's no need to go over it. However, one thing we need to understand is that Tawheed is not only affirmation, إثبات, you affirm. We don't only affirm that Allah is one, that's part of it, that's half of it. You can't have Tawheed except through denial as well, which is nafi. It's gotta go along with Ithbat and nafi. A person's Tawheed is not complete if he says he bear witness to Allah alone. That's affirming. That's 50% of it. That's Ithbat. He made it, he affirmed. He must also bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah. That's nafi, that's the other 50%. He must deny the right to be worshipped for everything besides Allah. He affirms it to Allah alone. He denies it from everyone else. That's nafi. Now that's the Tawheed portion of the author's statement. Then he said about Shirk, after he talked about Tawheed, وَأَعْظَمُ مَا نَهَى عَنْهُ الشِّرْك. The worst matter that Allah prohibited or forbade is Shirk, which is associating partners with Him. And then he defined Shirk, وَهُوَ دَعْوَةُ غَيْرِهِ مَعَهُ, to invoke others beside Him along with Him. Keep in mind how he defined Shirk. To invoke others beside Him along with Him. وَالدَّلِيلُ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِشَيْءٍ. Of course, then he mentioned the proof. Worship Allah alone and purely for Allah, and don't associate anything along with Allah. Remember a second ago on Tawheed, I used the proof that the author used to show that the most important matter is Tawheed. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. When Allah gave the series of orders, we said 10 orders, the rights. The first one was pertaining to Tawheed and Shirk. That in itself is proof that the most important warning is to Shirk. Because وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا. That was a very wise choice, like I said, by the author to choose this verse out of the many in the Quran to show that Tawheed is the most important, that the Shirk is the biggest forbidden. However, similar to that verse is قل تعالوا أتل ما حرم ربكم عليكم ألا تشركوا بي شيئا وبالوالدين إحسانا ولا تقتلوا أولادكم من إملاق نحن نرزقكم وإياهم ولا تقربوا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن ولا تقتلوا النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ذلكم وصاكم به لعلكم تعقلون. And the verse says قل تعالى أتل ما حرم ربكم. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I will recite what your Lord has prohibited upon you. You can't join anything in worship to Allah. That's number one. That's our point over here. Number two, you have to be good and dutiful to your parents. Number three, don't kill your children. And they used to kill them because of poverty. Don't kill your children because of poverty. We will provide sustenance for them and you. Or for this verse, it's you and them. And number four, don't go near al-fawahish. ما ظهر منها وما بطن ولا تقتلوا النفس. The fifth one is don't kill anyone whom Allah has forbidden. Over here the verse mentions five of the greatest forbiddings. The one to top the list, number one, is shirk. That's our point. Shirk is the greatest transgression. Allah said about it, Inna shirka la dhulmun azim. It's a great manifest transgression in Surah Luqman. Let's take the definition of shirk. Shirk comes to mean linguistically a share or a portion. There's a hadith that uses it linguistically, which is man a'taqa shirkan lahu fi al-abd. Whoever frees shirkan of a slave. What does it mean? Whoever frees a shirkan of a slave. Whoever frees his portion, his ownership of the slave. Meaning his portion of the slave. It also comes to mean equal. Tariq mushtarak. A mushtarak pathway means a pathway that everyone's equal in it. So it also comes to mean tariq mushtarak, which is equal. Over here, the author meant both shirk, the major and minor, not just the major. He defined shirk as da'watu ghayrihi ma'ahu, to call others with him. But can that only be shirk? He said to call, to invoke others with Allah. Is that how we define shirk? Is that really the true definition? And why did he define it like that? Is it just only invoking and calling Allah that's shirk? Or is it broader than that? And why did he say that? Why did he only use invoke or calling? Look closely at the verse in Surah Al-Jinn. وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. And the masjids are for Allah alone. So don't invoke anyone with Allah. وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. تَدْعُوا. He said, and don't invoke. Invoke and calling. Make dua. It also means worship in this verse. In this verse of Surah Al-Jinn, it means worship. Tad'u means worship. So why did the author use the definition? وَهُوَ دَعْوَةُ غَيْرِهِ مَعَهُ. He said shirk is to invoke others with Allah. Whereas shirk can be invoking in dua, and it could be in other matters of worship. Now the answer is dua or invoking, the word tad'u in Arabic, comes in two ways. And the author here meant both ways, as in the verse in Surah Al-Jinn. First of all, is dua al-mas'ala. That's the regular type of invoking. When you say Ya Allah, that's dua al-mas'ala. Ya Allah, Ya Kareem, Ya Afu. When it starts with Ya, harf al-nida, that's dua al-mas'ala. You're invoking Allah. You're calling on Allah. You don't say Ya Ali, Ya Hussein, Ya Badawi. We don't say that. That's the first type of dua. The second type of dua is dua al-ibadah, which is the invocation of ibadah, which is every other type of ibadah. Every other worship outside of dua, outside of invocation. Meaning everything that comes without using the call invocation ya, dua, harf al-nida, is included, like salah, sacrifice, fear, hope, everything like that. So in a quick summary, dua comes to mean two definitions. Dua of invocation, which is preceded with the letter or word, yeah, when you call and invoke, the type of dua that we all know. And dua, the second one is dua of worship, which is every other type of worship. So when the author defined shirk as invocation of others with him, he means all type of worship, not just the traditional regular dua that we do. Just like it means so in the verse in Surah Al-Jinn, وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. The bottom line of all that is the greatest matter that Allah commanded is Tawheed. The most serious forbidden matter is Shirk. Why? Why is it? If you look at it from every angle, it's the most important command. For the Akhirah, Tawheed and Shirk determine the everlasting abode. It's either success or failure based on your Tawheed. Jannah is haram. أنا مشرك. صحيح مسلم. من مات لا يشرك بالله شيئا دخل الجنة ومن مات يشرك بالله شيئا دخل النار. Whoever dies committing shirk will enter Jannah. Whoever dies committing with Tawheed will enter Jannah. Whoever dies committing shirk will enter Jahannam wal-'iyadhu billah. Tawheed determines the ultimate success or the ultimate failure. Jannah or Jahannam. Tawheed. إنه من يشرك بالله فقد حرم الله عليه الجنة ومأواه النار وما للظالمين من أنصار. Whoever commits shirk, Allah will make Jannah haram upon him. So it's what determines your life after, your final destiny. The Tawheed also is important because it's the fitrah. فأقم وجهك للدين حنيفا فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليه لا تبديل لخلق الله ذلك الدين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. In Surah Al-Rum, face your face on the deen, on Islam, both internally and externally, in matters of worship that are internally and externally. حنيفا للدين حنيفا, pure. فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليها. Meaning it's the fitrah of Allah. It's the natural instinct that Allah created people on. The hadith in Sahih Bukhari that everyone knows, كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. In another narration, على الملة. So anyone who's deficient or lacking or has a manipulated version of Tawheed, he has a tainted fitrah. That's the second. A third thing, Tawheed is the covenant that Allah took from the children of Adam in Surah Al-A'raf. وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَى شَهِدْنَا أَنْ تَقُولُوا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ إِنَّا كُنَّا عَنْ هَذَا غَافِلِينَ. A fourth matter, Tawheed is the most essential ordained because if you were given the choice of a universe full of wealth and luxury with kufr, or a life on tiny crumbs of bread and Tawheed, it's Tawheed that you should choose, if you are wise. عن أنس بن مالك عن النبي رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يقال للرجل من أهل النار يوم القيامة أرأيت لو كان لك ما على الأرض من شيء أكنت مفتديا به؟ قال فيقول نعم. قال فيقول قد أردت منك أهون من ذلك. قد أخذت عليك في ظهر آدم ألا تشرك بي شيئا فأبيت إلا أن تشرك بي. In Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, Allah will tell a man from the people who were doomed to hell, if you were to have the globe of wealth, would you ransom that to be out? And of course, he's going to say, of course, Ya Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, I asked you for much less than that. The covenant that I took upon you, I asked you for much less than that, and you refused, and you committed shirk. Tawheed also is most important Because of it, Allah sent messengers. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا نُوحِي إِلَيْهِ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَاعْبُدُونِ in Surah Al-Anbiya. وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ in Surah Al-Nahl. That's why Allah sent the messengers. Another reason why Tawheed is the most important, because it was for Tawheed that Allah revealed the books. Alif Lam Ra كتاب أحكمت آياته ثم فصلت من لدن حكيم خبير ألا تعبدوا إلا الله إنني لكم منه نذير وبشير. A book that was revealed so that you can worship Allah. Tawheed was the first call to people. When the Prophet ﷺ sent Mu'adh to Yemen, I mentioned a few minutes ago, إنك تقدم على قوم من أهل الكتاب فليكن أول ما تدعوهم إليه أن يوحدوا الله. Let the first thing be that you call them to Tawheed. Tawheed is important because it's what divides people. It's what Wala and Bara is founded on. So Tawheed is more important than family bonds when it comes down to it. لا تجد قوما يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر يوادون من حد الله ورسوله ولو كانوا آباءهم أو أبناءهم أو إخوانهم أو عشيرتهم أولئك كتب في قلوبهم الإيمان وأيدهم بروح منه ويدخلهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه أولئك حزب الله ألا إن حزب الله هم المفلحون. The surah of Wala and Bara in Surah Al-Mujadala, where the determining factor between family members is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Tawheed is the word that makes the difference between us and the people of the book. قل يا أهل الكتاب تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بيننا وبينكم ألا نعبد إلا الله ولا نشرك به شيئا. In Surah Al Imran, Allah says, O people of the scripture, come to a word that is just between us and you. What's the word that's just between us and you? The word of Tawheed. Tawheed is the first ordained, and its opposite, it's the first prohibition. قل تعالوا أتلوا ما حرم ربكم عليكم ألا تشركوا به شيئا. The verse we mentioned earlier. So it's the first ordained, and its opposite is the first prohibition. Tawheed is Allah is right over us. فإن حق الله على العباد أن يعبدوه ولا يشركوا به شيئا. It's a right of Allah over us, like he said in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ. Tawheed is the most important ordained because it demolishes sin. يا ابن آدم إنك لو أتيتني بقراب الأرض خطايا ثم لقيتني لا تشرك بي شيئا لأتيتك بقرابها مغفرة. Drops of Tawheed demolish and melt down mountains of sins. O son of Adam, in the Hadith al-Qudsi, if you were to come to me with sins that are close to filling the entire globe, the entire earth, the entire universe, and you meet me without ascribing any partners to me, I would certainly forgive you. Drops of Tawheed demolish mountains and mountains in a globe full of sins. Tawheed is the most important command, most essential command, because ولو أن it means for barakah. ولو أن أهل القرى آمنوا واتقوا لفتحنا عليهم بركات من السماء والأرض ولكن كذبوا فأخذناهم بما كانوا يكسبون. If they were to believe, we would have gave them barakah. If the people of the town had believed and had taqwa, piety, certainly we would have opened, if they would have believed, which is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, we would have opened for them the blessings from the heavens and the earth. But they disbelieved. So we took them with punishment. فَأَخَذْنَاهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ, for what they had used to do and they earned. Tawheed is the first question in the grave. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. You see why the author said the most important is Tawheed and its opposite is the biggest forbidden? It's the first question in the grave. Allah will keep firm, the verse says, Allah will keep firm those who believe with the word of firm. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت in this life, with the firm word, in this life and in the life after. The part in the life after is by ijma' of ulama, the question in the grave, which is Tawheed. Tawheed is important because in order to get intercession, the number one rule is Tawheed. أسعد الناس بشفاعة من قال لا إله إلا الله خالصا من قلبه. The Prophet ﷺ said, to get shafa'ah, the most fortunate of people to get my shafa'ah, my intercession, on the day of resurrection, are those who say La ilaha illallah, Tawheed, purely and sincerely from their heart. They are the ones who are most fortunate to get my shafa'ah, my intercession. Tawheed is the most important command or ordained because it's the way for leadership on this earth. وعد الله الذين آمنوا منكم وعملوا الصالحات ليستخلفنهم في الأرض كما استخلف الذين من قبلهم وليمكنن لهم دينهم الذي ارتضى لهم وليبدلنهم من بعد خوفهم أمنا يعبدونني لا يشركون بي شيئا ومن كفر بعد ذلك فأولئك هم الفاسقون. In Surah An-Nur, Allah promised He will certainly grant us succession, make us rulers and leaders on this earth, in this earth. But what's the condition after all the promise? يعبدونني لا يشركون بي شيئا. They worship me and commit no shirk. Tawheed is the most important command because it brings you content and happiness in this world. Why do you think the Prophet ﷺ taught the young boy when he was a young boy, Ibn Abbas, back when he was a young boy? Why do you think he taught him? If the world, وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ الْأُمَّةَ لَوْ اجْتَمَعُوا, if the world came to benefit you, they won't benefit you unless Allah wrote it for them. And if the globe came after you to harm you, they will not harm you unless Allah wrote it. Because if He raised His children, if you and I raise our children like that, on Tawheed like that, you're going to live a happy, content, stress-free life. We can go on and on why Tawheed is the number one command from Allah. And of course, impliedly included in all what I said, if it's the most important command, its opposite is the number one forbidden from Allah. Moving on, he said, وَالدَّلِيلُ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Let's go back to the proof that he said. We said this is a very comprehensive proof that shows that the biggest obligation is Tawheed and the biggest forbidden is Shirk. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ. The verse is وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ. Who's Allah directing the speech to? Is it Muslim and Kafir or Muslim alone? It's actually for Muslim and Kafir. It includes Muslim and Kafir. It's for all mankind. And it's more specific in another verse in Surah Al-Baqarah. Ya ayyuhan nasu u'budu rabbakum. O you mankind. Allah didn't say, O you who believe, O you mankind. When Allah mentions that ibadah is for everybody, He's ordering everybody to do ibadah and worship La ilaha illallah. But when He mentions the fruits of it, it's only for the believers. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. The benefit of the book is only for who? Everybody? No. It's for those who are pious, the believers. The non-believers are excluded. But the order to worship goes for the Muslim and Kafir. The fruits are only for those who believe. وَاعْبُدُوا. He orders ibadah. What type of ibadah here? The ibadah here is not restricted. So it's any type of ibadah. It's general and it's left open. So it's every ibadah, the principal root, foundation ibadah, which is Tawheed in itself. And then all secondary types of ibadah, salah, siyam, hajj, fear, love, hope, dua. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. And it has to be ikhlas and mutaba'ah. It's got to be based on Tawheed first. The pillar is Tawheed. The worship has to be based on Tawheed. If someone refers to as ibadah is worshiping other than Allah, it's null and void. It's false ibadah. It's not ibadah. It's null and void and false ibadah. Ibadah without Tawheed is like salah without wudu. Just like your salah is not accepted without wudu, ibadah is not accepted without Tawheed. Shirk voids Tawheed, just like breaking your wudu invalidates your tahara, your purification. وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Allah ordered us to worship Him alone. Then He deterred from shirk. He said, don't commit no shirk. وَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ, it means to worship Allah alone. If they worship Allah alone, then وَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ in itself doesn't need no additions. It's sufficient in itself. That in itself deters from shirk. But there's also a nafi part. وَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِشَيْءٍ, to assure the matter. The next part of the verse, which is the matter that we said is nafi, وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِشَيْءٍ, to ensure that one will not associate partner in any way. It's not initiating a new concept, it's elaborating on وَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ. When he followed وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا, that's to affirm. He's not initiating a new fact, but the fact was already established right there to worship Allah alone. وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا is to ensure. That's to show the importance of Tawheed and the danger of Shirk. Now the Shirk here include both minor and major. The verse is broad, and that's how it's best to leave it. It's broad. It includes both major and minor shirk. We spoke in the past on minor shirk. If you remember, you can go refer back to it. Let me give you the grammatical breakdown for those who want to show you how shirk is actually a general to encompass minor and major. And paying attention. I want to go through it quickly. These are detailed grammatical benefits. You really don't have to know them unless it interests you. Some of the brothers here are interested in that. Maybe if we do an Arabic class in the future, it'll become much easier to understand. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Shay'a here is nakira. Nakira is a common noun. A common noun in the context of deterring makes it general. شيء نكرة في سياق النهي فتعم. A common noun, nakira, in the context of a sentence of deterrent makes the matter general. So shay'a means everything. Everything associating an angel, messenger, prophet, saints, anything. Shay'a includes everything. So the general speech in tushriku, do not commit shirk, that's everything. But to top it off more, the nakira, shay'a, adds emphasis also as well. Because this is a dangerous matter. Through all that, keep in mind that even though the verse would have been perfectly okay without shay'a, it was added for emphasis because it's a dangerous matter. It's reiterated because it's a dangerous matter and because worship cannot be completed without staying away from shirk. The proper worship cannot be completed without staying from all forms of shirk, apparent and hidden, and that's an essential factor for your ibadah to be accepted. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ, and the second one is to be in accordance to the Quran and Sunnah. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ. In order for here, وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ, the order is for wujub. Sometimes orders in the Quran and Sunnah are for wujub, sometimes for Sunnah. Here it's for wujub. Whoever does not worship Allah is an arrogant kafir. Kafir mustakbir. Whoever worships someone with Allah, with a partner, associates a partner, he's a kafir mushrik. Whoever worships Allah alone is a sincere Muslim, is a Muslim mukhlis. And that's the three categories. Now let's move on. The author said, إِذَا قِيلَ لَكَ مَا الْأُصُولُ الثَّلَاثَةِ التي يجب على الإنسان معرفتها فقل معرفة العبد ربه ودينه ونبيه محمدا. These are the three principles that you must know. If you're asked what are the matters, إذا قيل لك, if you're told what's the three principles, التي يجب على الإنسان معرفتها, that every human is obligated to know, فقل معرفة العبد ربه, know your Lord, your religion, and your prophet. And as you can see, this is the core, this is the heart of the book. What we took so far in this chapter, early on when I said we started chapter 3, that's just the introduction to the heart of the book, which is the main part. What are the three principles in Arabic? It's called usul. That's what the book is named after. Usul means something which other things are built or founded or based on. Aslu shajara, the trunk of a tree where branches spring from. Aslul jidar, the wall, the foundation of it is aslu. Well, the author introduced this part of the book in a question form. He said, and if you are asked, and why did he do it like that, which he didn't do in the past 2 chapters? Because it's important, of course, and you wanted to draw attention like that. And it's a tactic used by writers, scholars, and ulama, the question and answer format. It's a change. It's a good style. It draws attention, gets your attention, instead of the systematical laying out of information that's used by many educators. So that's a good way to draw attention. I believe, however, the author initiated this portion of the booklet in a question and answer like format, unlike the previous 2 chapters where he could have said, and the 3 principles are, and he would have went ahead with it. The reason I believe he did that is possibly because these 3 questions, these 3 principles, are the ones you're going to be asked about it. So it suits it that he brought it in a question form. Everyone's going to be asked about it. Every human being is going to be asked. Every jinn is going to be asked about it. And the answer is what will make the determination if one is rich or happy. When you're asked about them in the grave, it's in a Q&A form. It's in a Q&A style. So it's very thoughtful to start this section off by making it a question. Starting the chapter like that, or this section like that. So everyone needs to know these questions. Learned, illiterate, doesn't matter. Educated, layman. Happiness and failure in both worlds depends on these principles. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ويضل الله الظالمين ويفعل الله ما يشاء. The verse we took earlier. These are the questions that your Tawheed is based on. Memorizing them, anyone can memorize them. We would have only had to do 5 minutes in the first class and we would have been done if that was all Tawheed. Memorizing these questions is part of it. Applying them, living by them, and dying by them, that's the Tawheed that we want. That's the kind of Tawheed we want. That's why the author didn't just say here, say there's these 3 principles. He gave a strong introduction before he mentioned the 3 principles. Remember we talked about Hanifiyya Millat Ibrahim and the importance of the just earlier today, how important Tawheed is and how dangerous Shirk is. If you get nothing, like I said, out of Tawheed except that you say it on your deathbed, La ilaha illallah, then you've succeeded. You've got a lot, you've got all you needed. That's the biggest change right there. And if you live by it and you die by it, and you go and pass over the first hurdle in this life, the first hurdle is the grave of the life after. The first hurdle, إن القبر أول منزل من منازل الآخرة فإن نجا منه فما بعده أيسر منه وإن لم ينج منه فما بعده أشد منه. In Sunan al-Tirmidhi, the grave is the first hurdle or the first stage of the hereafter. Whoever saved from it, whatever comes after will be easier. But if it's not saved from it, whatever comes after is going to even be worse. So you pass the first hurdle in this life when you said La ilaha illallah on your deathbed, inshallah we all say it. Now the second hurdle, which is in the first stage of the life after. The Prophet ﷺ said, I've never seen a scene, but the grave is more frightening than it. The grave. Tawheed is your way out of it. Tawheed is your means to get through it. Tawheed, and namely these 3 questions. In the grave, these 3 questions in the grave, these 3 questions are like the relationship between a heart and a body as pertaining to your life in the grave, the life of the barzakh. Just like the status of a well-being of the body depends on a healthy heart, كالعلاقة بين القلب والجسد, the status and well-being of the life after depends on what happens in the grave with those questions. If it's good, the questions, if you pass, whatever's after is better. And if not, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, whatever's after is worse. When the most cherished, loved ones put the dirt over the deceased hears the footsteps of those walking away, and two angels come and they sit him and ask him. And at this point, your means of rescue in the stomach of the earth, lonely, in the grave, under the dirt, is Tawheed. What you did in Tawheed. After the soul's restored to the body, the fearsome, the scary angels, Munkar and Nakir, they come for interrogation. They sit someone up and they ask him, who's your Lord? The believing soul will say, my Lord is Allah. What's your religion? And this is al-usul al-thalatha. What's your religion? My religion is Islam. Who is the man who was set amongst you? And it's Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Quickly goes over him. He studied Tawheed. He lived by Tawheed. He died by Tawheed. That's the first stage. If he's healthy in that stage, then that's it. After that, it's going to be better. Then they were asking him, how did you get this knowledge? What was the source of your knowledge? And he will reply, I have read Allah's book, I believed in it, and I declared it to be true. That portion of the hadith is in Sahih Bukhari. Now, if he's among the evil ones, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, who's your Lord? I don't know. Alas, I don't know. What's your religion? I don't know. Nas'alullah salama. What about the messenger? Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I don't know. Now, no, he doesn't know. But look what he says. He says, I don't know. But I used to say what the people used to say. I used to say what people used to say. And it will be told to him, you didn't know, nor did you take the guidance, meaning the guidance of the Quran. The people who pass will be told, look at your place in hellfire. Allah has given you, and they will see an opening in the grave, then Allah will they will see their place in paradise, and they will be told that's what's awaiting you. The dead person will be both righteous and not righteous, will see both places. The non-believer, after not answering, will be hit with an iron hammer between his ears, and with a force that's so violent that it'll crumble a mountain, and he will cry. And that cry will be heard by everything, whatever approaches him, except a human being and jinn. A call is then heard from heaven. He lied, spread out the carpets of hell for him, and take him to his place in hell. Nas'alullah salama. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من عذاب القبر اللهم نجنا من عذاب القبر اللهم أعذنا من عذاب القبر. Then after that, ugly beings wearing ugly garments and giving out foul, offensive orders come to the disbelieving soul, and they say, be grieved with what displeases you. And of course, the opposite is true for the righteous. Be grieved with that which displeases you. This is the day that you have been promised. This is the day we told you about. And he's going to ask, who are you? Who are you? Your face is so ugly. It looks like evil. And that person will say, I am your wicked deeds. Of course, to the believer, we don't want to go through the whole hadith. The believer, the opposite is true. النار يعرضون عليها غدوا وعشيا ويوم تقوم الساعة أدخلوا آل فرعون أشد العذاب. They are exposed to the fire morning and afternoon. And on that day, when the hour will be established, when the judgment day is there, Pharaoh and his people will be entering the severest punishment. عن عائشة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن للقبر ضغط لو كان أحد ناجيا منها لنجا منها سعد بن معاذ. The grave has a squeeze. If anyone was to be relieved from it, would have been Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. The man, in Bukhari and Muslim, Prophet ﷺ says, اهتز عرش الرحمن لموت سعد. The throne of Allah shook for his death. He lived from 30 to 36 in Islam. He died 36 years old. 6 years was his age in Islam. 70,000 angels We're in his funeral procession. Allah's throne shook from when he died. If anyone was to be relieved from that squeeze, it would be Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. Scary, terrifying. But what's slightly comforting is what Abu al-Qasim al-Sa'di in his book Al-Ruh said, no one's relieved from the squeeze of the grave except the righteous. They get a simple squeeze and then it's eased. But the disbelievers will get an ongoing, everlasting, powerful squeeze. Life in Tawheed, living on it, surviving on it, and dying on it so you can be resurrected on it is our goal, inshallah. Maybe I don't think I'll be here next week. I have some lectures to do. But my hope, inshallah ta'ala, is that we finish within less than 10 classes. Within 10 classes, we'll have this book done. And I think next month or either at the end of January or February, I don't have as many other obligations and lectures. So we can probably have 2 per week. We can finish this book. Allahumma arzuqna husn al-khatimah. واجعل خير أعمالنا خواتيمها واجعل خير أيامنا يوم لقائك اللهم ثبتنا عند الموت بلا إله إلا الله وثبتنا عند سؤال الملكين بالقول الثابت واجعل قبورنا روضة من رياض الجنة ولا تجعلها حفرة من حفر النار. So inshallah we'll stay posted for the announcements, and like I said, it'll probably be within less than 10 classes that we finish this book. Less, that's my maybe 8. It depends on each timing of the class. So I'm saying this to keep you inspired. Don't give up hope. If you reach this far, there's only a little bit left, not much left. And after that, we will discuss with you and inshallah our brothers and sisters who follow us online what other books they favor. The pace has to step up a